Hello, my friends. It's Andy over at today's CBD Oil, coming to you from a kind of rainy day here in Brea, California, Orange County, California. And I have a great show planned, and I hope you agree because I met this my awesome friend, I like to call her, and business partner in Dallas. And after talking to her, she has a story that I thought would be important for some of the people that I know that are watching, even those of you that don't comment, and I wish you would, that there's maybe some things in your background or in your past that maybe keep you from, meeting your dreams or moving forward with something that you want to move forward with. And so I thought this would be a great day to bring her on and to talk about this, and I'll let her decide how much of her story she wants to share. But I think it's a really an important story that I would like all of you to hear. So right after this, we'll bring on my awesome friend Cindy Lynn. Well, I started with the wrong video. It is the today's oil. It's the podcast one. So you are going to be on my next podcast, just so you know. Hey, okay. Cindy Lynn, my awesome friend and business partner. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Outstanding. I just was telling you off camera that for some reason you're making me a little nervous. I don't know why.
But I'm the one that's nervous. I should be interviewing you, actually.
Before we get started, though, I want to say hello to Derek, who's watching, and your friend London is watching. Hey. And so she's on here. That's pretty awesome. Cool. Saying hi to both of us. And so what I want to do first is I want the people that are watching to learn a little bit about you. So we're going to start with kind of the end story. What do they call that? There's a name for it. The producer, the director. What's his name? Forget it. I had it all worked in my head before I started, and now I forgot that too. See, you're making me nervous. All right, so let's start with the end of the story and hear a little bit about what it is you do now and who Cindy Lynn is.
Well, right now, currently, as far as a career goes, I do fitness training. Fell in love with fitness training back 2006, 2007. And then I wanted to help others because I have benefited so much from getting in the gym and it being my happy place. And we'll get to more of that later. But and then also part of a health and wellness company, Viseo, that we're brand partners together. And I know we'll get more into that too. But basically, that's what I do now. My kids are grown, and so just kind of doing me now.
I think that was the first shocking thing I learned about you is that you have grown kids, and you missed another thing. You are also a grandmother. Is that okay to say?
I am. Yeah, of course. He's two. He's amazing. He keeps me going. He's just amazing.
Yeah. So like you said, we'll get into Viseo a little bit more, but were you in network marketing before Viseo? Have you experienced?
Yes, and actually when my brand partner that I joined with approached me about it, I had swore to never do it again because I had been part of it and, wasn't successful. It might have been a company. I love the products. I love the idea and, the time freedom, financial freedom, the whole idea of it, but just didn't have the system. I was a system. It just never worked. It was never. So it was one of those kind of bouncing around trying to find the right thing. But yeah, I had been in that space before.
Yeah. So me too. I've been to those Amway parties, where they draw little circles and things like that. And then, what else? There's something else that I did. Oh, the essential oils. Young Living.
Young Living. Right?
Yeah, those people. And I joined, but I got the package, but I never once told anybody that I was doing it. I think I just wanted the discount for all the oils and the infuser or whatever that thing is that blows it in the air. And so the one thing that when you were telling your story, it made me think of a song that a Christian band sings. I'm not sure if you know this band. They're called For King and Country. Have you ever heard of it? For King and Country? They're a fantastic band to see live, and they're just a great band. And the one story or one song that they recently came out, maybe it was about a year ago, it's called Burn the Ships. And they're two brothers that are the lead singers for this band, and he tells a story about his wife. Now, you were, as far as I know, not addicted to narcotics, but
No.
his wife, his wife during her pregnancy became nauseous. I guess debilitatingly nauseous, and so the doctor prescribed some drugs, and then it began to not work, and so the doctor told her to take more. And after it was all over with, the pregnancy that went well, thankfully, she could not get off those narcotics, and she found herself in a little bit of trouble. And from that story, they wrote a song. And so I don't normally do this. This may be kind of sappy, but your story kind of reminded me of these words in the song. And so the words in the middle of the song are: burn the ships, cut the ties, send a flare into the night, say a prayer, turn the tide, dry your tears and wave goodbye, step into a new day. We can rise up from the dust and walk away. We can dance upon our heartache. So light a match, leave the past, burn the ships, and don't look back. And for whatever reason, when you were telling your story, there was something about your story that reminded me of that song. Would you mind? Would you mind sharing a little bit of your story that you feel comfortable sharing with? And I think the story is the most powerful thing. It took me a long time to tell my story. I've told my story. I had a business of 500 employees at one point. I made a few bad decisions in that business. It cost me everything, probably just about everything, including my house and a bunch of other stuff. And I would never have told that story because I only want people to think that I'm this awesome dude, right? Most of us do. And so the story is important. So I think if you could share as much of your story as you feel comfortable sharing, that'd be awesome.
Sure, I'd be happy to. I've debated on whether to do the live myself and just put it out there. But when you asked me to do this live, I was like, well, maybe it's the perfect opportunity to kind of put me at ease and let me just tell my story. Because over the last year, I've really been looking for something, and just kind of, my kids were grown out of the house, and I feel like it was a time, I've always been focused on them. And once they were out of the house, it was just like, me, like, what is my identity? Like, who is Cindy? I had this passion and this drive and this burn inside me to like do stuff and help people and to just do things with my life. And I started praying and soul searching, and just I really prayed specifically for peace and clarity in my life. And I was going through some things, and I just kind of slowly got some answers. Just to start and rewind back, as a young adult, I was raised as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. So I was, from 8 to being an adult, I was in that environment, in that world. So, and this is not a pity party. This is just my reality. So I want to, everybody has a right to worship and believe and do whatever they want to do. But I chose to get out. And if you know anything about how that is, all your friends, everyone that you're around, and any family members that are in the same religion, then it's pretty much like you're an outcast. So it was like a new beginning. It's like, oh boy, this is a world. I'm thrown out into the world, and I got to figure everything out. So make new friends, So long story short, I went through years and years of just, raising my kids, single mom, all that. And then it was just, this year was just like, I kept like feeling like I was held back. Like I never could like make my own choices and be my own person. I learned to internalize everything. And so I would like, my closest friends, I could talk about stuff, but I'm gonna get sappy a little bit myself. But just this year, it was just eye-opening because I could focus on me. So once I put it out there, pray for peace and clarity, things started happening. I always had a feeling, and I don't know where it comes from, that if you're going to therapy, like something's really wrong with you. But I did reach out to someone and started going to therapy. And I walked in and I was like, I don't know who to pick, So they picked this little man for me. And as soon as I walked in and I sat down with him, he knew exactly what I was talking about. He had dealt with a situation, and it was like this big weight was lifted off of me. But prior to this, I forgot to mention I had listened to Leah Remini's documentary on it, and there was a guy on there that was just told my story. Just like I was like, whoa. My daughter actually told me about it, and she's like, Mom, you need to listen to this. So I did, and it just felt like all the walls that I had up were just coming down, and I was kind of understanding where my insecurities had come from, where I was being held back. Why couldn't I get where I wanted to go? Something always held me back. And then I met my brand partner, Sue Carney, and she introduced me. We were networking together, and she was telling me about her story and what the business school, Overcome Nation and Viseo was doing for her, it had done for her.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I don't even care what the product is. I'm all in. I'm like, okay, where do I sign? I was like, this is it. This is it. And last April, I went to the first event, and love you too, Sue. She's on here. The first event, which was life changing. And I remember just feeling like intimidated and a little nervous and very emotional at that event. Very emotional. Yeah. The whole thing was like, this is what I've been missing.
And that was an Overcome Nation event, right?
That was, yes. We went to Chicago, and that was my first experience with our team. Just seeing the community, seeing the leadership. I plugged into that business school right away. Like I didn't like build a business right away because I had a lot of things I needed to build in myself. And what they teach us is capacity and how to grow in the strengths, the kingdom principles, how to posture yourself, how to be able to have confidence and grow yourself, build a person, build a business. So I just plugged into that, and that's what I've been doing. And I can see a difference in all my relationships with my friends, my kids, my family. I mean, everything is like, it's brought me out of that shell. And not that I haven't always been outgoing, I have, but this has just been the best thing that's happened to me.
Can I hate to interrupt, but how difficult was that transition from, like, I was painfully shy. This may find it hard to believe, but I was painfully shy when I was a kid. I mean, I would nearly pee my pants in elementary school when the teacher would ask me to stand up and read, and it was horrible. It was terribly painful. I took up magic. I learned magic, and then eventually that allowed me to get out of that feeling of worry and scared and just fright of talking in front of people, because I put on this character. So I had to actually put it on a character. My name as a magician was Andini.
Oh, wow.
Play on Houdini, right? So I was Andini. So that was, I needed that. How difficult was it? What changed in you to now kind of go into this world that maybe you had not been particularly in before?
Well, as a child, it was hard. I remember my third grade teacher calling us a cult. I remember crying. And I was, you're just kind of the outcast, and you don't celebrate holidays. You don't do this and do that. But as an adult, I lost my brother. It just kind of snapped. Something just snapped. And I was like, I can't explain it. But it was after that. It was a few months just after that. Just like, I felt like I was I had to like be the example, and like the way we grew up, I had to like show him the way. And then it was like something just broke right there, it's like, no, there's more.
Then I don't know if you mentioned this. I was listening to you, but were you in a relationship at this point when you went to Chicago?
I was, yeah. It wasn't a very good relationship. So it was, it was kind of toxic. So that was another thing I was dealing with. So I had to break free from that. Yeah.
And I think that's not common that people are in toxic relationships, but I'm imagining this person was not very encouraging, because sometimes the people that are most critical of us are the people that we either love or that are close to us, the ones who will tell you, don't do it, you're crazy, how stupid is that? I understand that, some people will say that the people you're learning from are dumb people or whatever their words are.
As far as being supportive in the beginning, yes, he was supportive. He was all on board, but there was an insecurity there on his part in my growth and the people that I was surrounded by. It just was intimidating, and it just caused more problems. So it just, yeah.
So in an interesting way, I think sometimes that can kind of point out that, and I'm not putting words in your mouth. Hopefully I'm not putting words in your mouth, but
No.
sometimes those things happen and you realize what a bad relationship you're in. Like,
Yeah.
I was just kind of going through
Right.
the
Mm-hmm.
motions of being in this
Mm-hmm.
relationship, but now I really see that this is a bad relationship
Right.
and I need to move on. So,
Well,
I don't
it
know.
just reaffirms what you know and your gut's telling you, and you just don't know how to go about it. And you just develop those strengths to be able to say, hey, I deserve
Right.
better.
Right.
Something's got to change.
So I know you said you noticed a big change in you, but how about the people around you, your children or other
Hmm.
family members? Did they notice a difference in you?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, my kid, we're all close, and
Yeah.
that's one thing I love, that we're all very close. We talk all the time. Two of them I talk to just about on a daily basis. So, yeah, it's just the level of conversation, and it's just deeper. It's just, I don't know how to explain it without, it just does put you on a different level.
Mm.
Because once you're at peace with yourself, it's not all about you anymore. It's about what you're giving, what you're putting out there.
So, what part, if any, did Viseo and Overcome Nation play in this change, this Cindy Lynn change, the new Cindy Lynn? If
Well,
any.
it really was a breakthrough. I noticed, like I was saying, from the one event to the next when we went to Dallas, that it was just beautiful because I felt like I was in such a different place. I was stronger. I was like there on a different level. I was there, like I still had some things to like figure out. And I talked to a couple of people there. Cheryl Henderson, I don't know if she's on here, but she was one of them. And Ruthie Jessup, I talked to them, and it just really, really helped like reiterate in my mind where I was headed and what I needed to do. People need to hear my story. And I felt stronger. And actually I was able to help and reach out to people there at the event. I just realized that it wasn't just about me anymore. And
Mm.
I don't know if you were going to touch on this later, but I just want to point out Cindy Sushnik's some of her testimony and her what she talked about was like a breakthrough moment for me, because she talked about pain. She talked about digging in the dirt, digging in the trenches, digging out the roots, the rocks, all that to create a foundation. And that was just like, wow, I wrote that. I've read that like every week, like since I've been back. But and she talked about how she was embarrassed and living in a shack or a house with a tarp paper roof and that kind of thing. And
Right.
she said one thing that really, really stuck out to me. Don't let your circumstances define you. Don't
Yeah.
let them hold you back, your circumstances, because you can't help where you came from. You can't help, you know, where you've been. You didn't decide that. That's reality. But what you do is there is tremendous power when you are able to speak from your pain. And that's
Right.
what happened to me in Dallas.
Yeah.
That transformation moment there. So,
And that's why I wanted you to share your story, because there's so much power in that. There's other
mhm,
people there, looking for something
mhm,
that will change their life. And I've often said this, that I love the sale. I
mhm.
love the products. I did join because of the products, so I was a little bit different. Um, exactly, in the Renew, and the Core Complete, and the V3. Look at this. We're here.
Yeah.
Um, E Slim.
Mhm,
Um, but now I tell people all the time, I think Viseo is second to Overcome Nation for
mhm.
me.
Right.
And I don't mean that to put down Viseo,
Right.
because they are fantastic. One of the top 50 healthcare companies in the
Yeah.
world, great products, and they do a tremendous job, and we can make,
Mhm,
eventually we will be making a really good living from this particular company as we begin to work hard and
mhm,
develop our team.
mhm.
But it is the team that really is the big draw
It
for me,
it
and
really is.
it will keep me here
It
is the
really
over.
is too. Me too. And I just to touch on that for a second,
Mhm.
the SAO is how I look at it is an awesome company. It's our vehicle to get us where we want to go to achieve our dreams. Like we can do other things because of the SAO. But Overcome Nation, like Rick and all the leaders, they're it's just puts us in a better place, like personal growth, or build the person, build the business. So that's what it's all about. Um, oh, Lyndon, stop. No crying. No tears, please. Strong over here. Uh,
Yeah.
but it's true. It's like our team is just like, and I have to say TCB Global too, Overcome Nation and TCB Global. I mean,
Yep.
it's just amazing the community we have, and that's something that was also missing in my life. And like, you surround yourself with people like that. Who gets to hang out with millionaires, seven-figure earners? I mean, for real.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and that
Yeah.
are good-hearted, and they're not selfish, they're not greedy. They're like, they give freely to us for free, like the live Rick did last night. I
Yeah.
mean, come on. So it's really beautiful, and I just want the whole flipping world to know like what this is all about, because there's nothing else like it out there. There's just isn't.
I know. I think people, because people know me from being a cop or a dog trainer, or maybe they've seen me on one of those television shows or something like that that I've been able to do,
Hmm.
and I think they have this persona of me of what I have been for the last
Hmm.
couple of years. And now here I am talking about CBD, and and then I come into these Facebook lives, and when London was saying that she's tearing up, is that I've teared up more since I've
Yeah.
joined. I mean, my kids do it to me all the time, but
Right.
I will talk about things. Even reading the words to that song, I was getting teared up. I don't know if you noticed, but it's because it also speaks to me of some of the things that I've struggled with
Hmm.
PTSD, and some
Hmm.
of the things I've seen on the street when I was a police officer. And it does bring you to a place of emotion,
Hmm.
unlike anything else that I've ever been a part of. When we're at the events, whether it's an Overcome Nation event or a Viseo event, they have so many different types of speakers, diverse speakers,
Hmm.
and like you, the ones that you named, kind of hit you, and then I have the ones that hit me
Yeah.
exactly. They
The
tell me
same.
the things I need to hear,
Right.
and
Right.
it's like they're speaking to me at that very point. Like, how
Hmm.
did you know I needed to hear that message today?
Yeah.
And that's what I love, is that they choose such great speakers, and they're all so different. You got Navy SEALs speaking to us.
Hmm.
Got people like yourself that were in in some type of what could be described as a cult, and again,
Hmm.
I'm trying to be careful, but
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
escaped, and now have
Hmm.
found something different and new. And I mean, I could keep going from all the diverse,
Hmm.
people that I talk to, pastors.
Yeah.
We got a very strong faith-based, I think, team
Hmm.
also, and you don't have to
Hmm.
be Christian to be in it, but I'm just telling you that
Hmm.
there is an aspect of that. So I think it's amazing. They brought some stuff out
Hmm.
of me that I've hid for a long time. I was
And
raised
you
by
try. Oh.
I was gonna say I was raised by World War II era parents. They were older when they had me,
Hmm.
but and I come from a very strong disciplinarian who taught me not to cry. I was told if I cried, it would show weakness, and they would, when I got spanked with a belt, I would spank me until I stopped crying, which was an
Hmm.
opposite reaction.
Hmm.
It gave me all the tools to be a police officer, because I'm not a
Right.
big guy. I'm not huge, but especially not then. I was only 175 pounds, but that
Mhm.
it allowed me to do some things. But there were some wounds too that I think that um, it'll be better now for me in personal relationships, because
Mhm.
now I can share my heart. Now I don't mind telling you that I'm weak, or I
Yeah.
failed. I mean, I
Right.
never would admit failure
Mhm.
for years. So I didn't mean to make this all about me, but our discussion here is bringing out some stuff, and especially with you. You were going
Okay.
to say, but I kept on talking. What was
Oh, no,
number?
I thought you were done. I was just gonna say another thing that Cindy had mentioned was that don't rush the process too. We wanna just be like all fixed and, but that comes from taking your time processing, so you have to process the things you've been through and, like, just soak it in and build on that. And that's how I feel like where I'm at now. It's not about me anymore. It's just so, um, what can I do to help other people and help them enjoy life better, whether it be financially, um, or just helping them be part of this community, or just encouraging, whether it be through workouts or whatever. I just feel like there's the reason I'm here, and it's has
Yeah.
to do with giving. I haven't quite narrowed that down exactly, but just giving of my, I mean, there's so many different things that I would just love to do. Um, but just growing and developing new skills and learning those, like that circle we have now, the strength wheel,
Yeah.
so But anyway, I just wanted to mention that real quick.
Yeah, for sure. So there was shoot. Now I started thinking about the wheel.
Oh.
That's why I have to put banners up so I remember all the things I want to talk about. But shoot, what was the thing that we were just talking about earlier? Oh, I know what I was going to say. So what you have become, you've in this very short period of time, have become a mentor to me in the way that you handle reaching out to people to tell them about the business. I am horrible at talking about the business, and because I'm not this was an accident. I didn't come into this space, network marketing, on purpose. I came because I wanted to take CBD oil, and it began to change my life. And then the rest of the Visail products came along and began to even do more to change my life. The subtitle of my my second book is CBD: The Gateway to Wellness. CBD got me started, and then took me through the gateway of wellness to these other great products that we were kind of holding up there for a little while. And so, but I'm learning a lot from you in following up with people, talking to them, not being weird. You know, not the Amway, or I don't mean to pick on Amway. That's just the one that comes to mind. But I was told to sell to my friends and family, and I tried it for a second. They said, "Oh, all right, I'll buy some soap. Don't show me that you can eat the soap." Or whatever it was, spray the soap in your mouth, whatever that was. Those are the things I took away from it, right? But this is different, and we are taught differently that we, it says here at the top of the screen here, changing lives daily, that is kind of what we are in this for, is to change lives both with the products, but I need to be better at changing lives with the opportunity to join a great business, an international distribution company like this one, that is one of the top 50 healthcare companies in the world. How can you buy, spend, maybe at the, $1,500, $2,000, and have what we have, right? You don't have to spend $1,500. I mean, you should, because that'll get you to be a founder and you'll make more money that way. However, it could cost you as little as, maybe $100, $50 to join, and then, another $50 in products. But it is an incredible opportunity to buy a franchise like this one and get teamed up with the team that we have, and people like you that I can learn from to be a better.
This team is amazing. It's priceless. I can't. It's like Sue. I remember she told me when we first met. She's like, I just can't explain it. She said, like the events, and when I first joined, she's like, you got to be at the events. She said, I don't know. I just can't explain it. You just got to be there, and it's really true. It's like you don't know what you're missing. You don't know what you don't know. You just got to be there. It's just the greatest thing. And, you can tell it all day long and be excited, and, people can feel your emotion, but until you're there and you feel the community, and everybody comes from all different walks of life. So everybody's there to help everybody too. It's like you could call up, somebody on another team if you needed to, like, for advice, and you could become friends, that it doesn't financially benefit them at all to help you. Right. But it's just like we're a family. And I love that.
Yeah, we're not in direct line. And we have no problem discussing and talking. Right. And that's not what this is all about. It's about sharing the opportunity with people. And whether they're watching and they decide to go with me or decide to go to you, it doesn't matter to me. And I encourage you to reach out to one of us. And that just you're not picking sides.
Nope.
You're not picking mom over dad.
Right.
Either way, you'll get to the Overcome Nation family, and that's all that really matters in the Visail family. Did I miss anything that you wanted to talk about before we cut off? I'm trying to be better at keeping these under an hour, and I'm really working really hard. So, anything else that we can talk about?
I don't think so. I was just waiting on your questions. That's what was breaking my nerves. I wasn't sure what was coming. So I just have to interview you from my network because you have all the experience with the book writing and the CBD book you have, and doing these Facebook Lives, interviewing all the time. So you're really good at it. I can learn a lot from you.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. All right. And unless anybody has a question that pops up here, I think we are going to land this plane. And I do appreciate you coming on. I really appreciated you sharing your story and being transparent, and giving me the ability to share that with other people. It's been awesome.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. I'm going to play a video. I'm going to play a video, but don't go anywhere. You can stay on. Don't sign off yet. All
All
right.
right.
That's it. All right, guys.
All right.
Thanks for watching.
Thank
I'll
you.
talk to you later. All right. Bye.
See you.